Okay, let's jump right into this incredibly dense day of news. Welcome to our latest explainer. Today, we're unpacking May 12th, 2026. We're looking at how 15 totally distinct global headlines literally wire together into one massive geopolitical puzzle. You know, things are moving lightning fast right now, but mapping out exactly how an event in one hemisphere directly triggers a crisis in another, well, that's where the real understanding happens.
To make sense of all this chaos, we're going to track four main themes today: the collapsing ceasefire, the massive global energy shock, the maneuvering on the geopolitical chessboard, and finally, some really unpredictable domestic threats and wildcards.
All right, Section 1, the ceasefire collapses and the Middle East escalation. We absolutely have to start right at the epicenter, the complete collapse of that highly anticipated ceasefire meant to end the 2026 Iran war.
So here's what happened. President Trump officially rejected Iran's latest peace proposal, and he didn't mince words, bluntly calling the document a piece of garbage and declaring the whole agreement to be on massive life support. Look, this isn't just political rhetoric, guys. This total halt to diplomatic momentum is a glaring signal to the entire world that we are immediately back on high alert in the region.
And the real-time fallout from that rejection? It's happening as we speak. Intelligence has confirmed Iran is making immediate, physical preparations for an escalating conflict. They're repositioning both military and civilian aircraft into neighboring Pakistan and Afghanistan, which is a very clear move to shield them from potential U.S. and Israeli airstrikes. But that's not all. Kuwaiti officials reported that 6 Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps officers were actually caught infiltrating Bubiyan Island. Officials are seriously concerned this is being set up as a staging ground for sabotage. The chessboard is physically shifting right before our eyes.
Which brings us to Section 2, the global energy shock and its cascading consequences. Because this localized military buildup, it's already threatening to fracture the entire global economy. 100 million. Just wrap your head around that number for a second. That is the stark warning coming directly from Amin Nasser, the head of Saudi Aramco. He's warning of a catastrophic energy shortage, predicting the global oil market will lose 100 million barrels of oil every single week if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed because of this conflict. He's projecting critically low summer fuel levels worldwide.
But how does a global warming like that actually hit home for us? Just look at the gas pump. U.S. fuel prices are already up nearly 50% since the start of the Iran war. When we talk about global ripple effects, this is literally it. A geopolitical standoff thousands of miles away instantly drains the wallets of everyday citizens just trying to commute to work. So, to mitigate this immediate economic pain, lawmakers are absolutely scrambling. Republican Senator Josh Hawley just introduced legislation to completely suspend federal taxes on gasoline and diesel for 90 days. It's a direct domestic policy reaction trying to cushion the blow of this massive international supply chain shock.
Now, while the economy takes a hit, world leaders are of course making their moves. Let's head into Section 3, the geopolitical chessboard, and look at how global powers are reacting to these intersecting crises.
While the Middle East destabilizes, there's an unprecedented diplomatic push happening over in Beijing. President Trump didn't just bring diplomats with him, he actually brought tech titans like Elon Musk and Apple's Tim Cook. They're there to simultaneously tackle trade issues, the incredibly complex situation surrounding Taiwan, and actively seek China's help to resolve the Iran conflict. It just goes to show how deeply intertwined modern diplomacy is with international commerce and big tech.
Meanwhile, over in Europe, the focus is staying firmly on the human cost of these ongoing conflicts. The European Union just voted to slap new sanctions against a dozen Russian officials. This is specifically in response to the reported orchestration of the abduction and re-education of over 20,000 Ukrainian children. It's a really stark reminder of the massive humanitarian crises running parallel to all these economic and military standoffs.
Simultaneously, the actual mechanics of how we fight wars are completely shifting. We're moving away from purely traditional military exercises. Instead, NATO drone teams, alongside Swedish and American forces, are conducting drills with Ukraine on Sweden's Gotland Island. And what's really crucial to note here is that NATO commanders explicitly said Ukraine's real-world combat experience puts them miles ahead in drone warfare technology. The tactics of global defense are literally evolving in real time.
Adding yet another layer to this international instability, let's look at the UK, where domestic politics are shifting dramatically. Prime Minister Keir Starmer is facing some intense pressure right now from senior cabinet ministers. They're urging him to set a timeline for his departure to allow an orderly transition of power. This comes right on the heels of some devastating local election losses, proving that domestic political turbulence is very much a core piece of this global puzzle.
Okay, that brings us to our final section, Section 4, Domestic Threats and Wildcards. This is where all of this international anxiety translates directly into complex vulnerabilities right in our own backyard. Domestically, the U.S. is facing a massive, multi-front security challenge. In politics, the suspect in last month's assassination attempt at the White House Correspondents' Dinner has pleaded not guilty. In the realm of espionage, an LA County mayor in Arcadia actually agreed to plead guilty to acting as an illegal agent for the Chinese government. And in counterterrorism, security experts are sounding the alarm that the upcoming 2026 U.S. World Cup faces significant threats from lone actor extremists who've been radicalized by the Iran conflict.
Because of all these converging pressures, lawmakers are drawing some very strict boundaries. Senate Republicans have strongly cautioned the White House against opening up a second front in Cuba. Their argument is pretty straightforward. The U.S. military is already severely overextended in the Middle East, and doing this during a critical midterm election year, it's just way too great a risk.
And as if the political and military threats weren't enough to worry about. Because hey, why not add a biological wildcard to the mix, right? The first American passenger from that virus-stricken cruise ship, the MV Hondius, has officially tested positive for hantavirus. It's a severe respiratory disease. The patient is currently isolated in a federal biocontainment unit at the University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha. It's just another totally unpredictable variable in an already volatile global landscape.
But let's look at how this builds a picture of our future, ending on a note of human innovation. Recently, at the Great Lakes Fusion Energy Summit, industry leaders pointed out something fascinating. The unprecedented expansion of AI data centers brings a massive power draw, sure, but it also creates a really unique opportunity. The immense power requirements of AI could actually be the exact financial and infrastructural catalyst we need to rapidly scale and deploy fusion energy plants directly alongside these high-demand tech facilities. It's like a real silver lining. So, I want to leave you with a provocative question to chew on. As our technological capabilities in AI and energy reach these incredible new heights, will that innovation actually be enough to anchor and stabilize us through these historic, fracturing geopolitical storms? It's basically a race between our political vulnerabilities and our technological solutions. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your eyes on the data and keep questioning the world around you.